Good morning, dear students. Last class we have started ionic equilibrium. In ionic equilibrium, we know what is electrolyte, what is strong electrolyte, what is weak electrolyte, and what is Ostwald's dilution law. So this Ostwald's dilution law is generally applicable for weak electrolytes. Okay, and what is the Ostwald's dilution law? The degree of ionization of a weak electrolyte is directly proportional to the square root of its volume and inversely proportional to the square root of concentration of the solution at a particular temperature. That means if the concentration increases, then the ionization of weak electrolyte decreases. If the volume increases or concentration decreases, the volume increases, then the ionization of weak electrolyte increases. For example, if you take 1 mole of acetic acid in 500 ml of solution, then how many parts of acetic acid ionized? If you diluted it to 1 liter, then its ionization of the acetic acid increases. Okay, so this is known as actually your Ostwald dilution law. Now let us solve some problems regarding this Ostwald dilution law. So two questions are there. When 0.1 of ammonia is dissolved in water to make 1 liter of solution, then the OH minus of the solution is 1.34 10 to the power minus 3m. Calculate the Kb for ammonia. So first come to this answer number 1. So when ammonia actually when dissolved in water, it forms ammonium hydroxide. Ammonium hydroxide, which is a weak electrolyte. Okay, and this ammonium hydroxide, it dissociates as NH4 plus OH minus. So here, what is the concentration of this NH4OH? The concentration of the total moles given is 0.1 mole given. And what is the concentration of this OH mass found after dissociation? What is the concentration of this OH minus? So the OH minus is 1.34. So this value given 1.34 into 10 to the power minus 3m. This is moles per liter and this is 1.34 into 10 to the power moles per liter. This is taken in 1 liter of solution, 0.1 moles per liter. And this is 1.34 10 to the power minus 3 moles. That is given. Okay, so the question is asked, calculate the Kb for this. So what is the value of Kb? So for weak acid, we know that is alpha is equal to root over of Kb by C. We know alpha is equal to root over of Kb by C. Okay? Or Kb is equal to alpha square into C. So to remove this square in both sides, we get alpha square equal to Kb by C or alpha square C that is equal to Kb. Already we know this. Okay. Now find out what is alpha. So we know this alpha is equal to number of moles splits into ion divided by total number of moles. So as this is given 1.34 into 10 to the power minus 3. So this value 1.34 into 10 to the power minus 3 divided by total number of moles taken 0.1. That is 0.1. 1.34 10 to the power minus 3 by 0.1. That is 10. So 1.34 is 10 to the power minus 3 into 0.1. 0.1 means that is 10 to the power minus 1. 10 to the power minus 1 it comes here. It is 1.34 into 10 to the power minus 2. So degree of dissociation is this much. Then what is the value of Kb? The Kb is equal to 1.34 10 to the power minus 2 square into C. what is the concentration of the solution? So what is the concentration of the solution? Alpha square, what is the concentration of the solution? So the concentration of the solution is given 1. Concentration of the solution is given. How much you have taken? You have taken that is 0.1 mole. That is 1.10 minus 2 into 0.1. So multiply this and you will get this value 1.8 into 10 to the power minus 5. You will find this value 1.8 into 10 to the power minus 5. So in this way you can calculate what is the value of Kp. Okay. So now let's come to the question number 2. In question number 2 it is given on the page, calculate the degree of ionization and H3O plus concentration of 0.01 m acetic acid, 0.01 m acetic acid solution. Ka for acetic acid is at 298 Kelvin is 1.8 into 10 to the power minus 5. So this value is given. Then calculate the degree of ionization. So first, what is the acid given? This acetic acid. Okay. So degree of ionization. So what is asked here? Given Ka value given and asked find out what is the degree of ionization. That is Ka, that is alpha. Degree of ionization to H3O plus acetic acid and Ka is given. Okay, so alpha is asked and H3O plus concentration is also asked to find out these two. Look here. So first CH3COOH. So plus water. Actually how this H3O plus form plus H2O give rise to CH3CO minus plus H3O plus. So when acetic acid dissolved in water, it gives acetate ion H3O plus. It gives little amount of so less amount of in this reversible side. This is a weak electrolyte. This is a weak electrolyte. Okay. So CH3COH, H2O, CH3CO minus plus H3O plus. Then what is the value of Ka? This Ka is equal to CH3CO minus H3O plus divided by CH3COH into H2O. So just apply this Bichat's principle and in this way you can find out what is the value of and you can find out what is the value of this. And I have also told you for pure liquid, this or pure solvent, this is the solvent for pure liquid or pure solvent. This is taken as 1, so this water is taken as 1. So you can write CH3CO minus concentration H3O plus concentration divided by CH3COOH like this. Let the concentration of so what is given 0.01 m of acetic acid and let if alpha is the degree of ionization. If alpha is the degree of ionization, so first this is equal to our Ka. Okay. Suppose concentration of this is given 0.01 and this is water has no concentration, which is aqueous. Actually this concentration is taken in all conditions as 1 and this is initially 0 and 0. After some time, alpha is the degree of ionization. Alpha percent acetic is dissociated to give this CH3CO minus and H3O plus. In this way, this value becomes 0.01 into 1 minus alpha. This is again 1 and what is the this is 0. Let's here this is 0.01 alpha and 0.01 alpha and we find Ka is equal to CH3CO minus H3O plus H3O plus concentration by CH3CO minus CH3COH concentration. So initially this one, but after equilibrium is achieved, from 1 alpha part is dissociated, and from 0.01 part 0.01 into 1 minus alpha. There are 0.01 part, 0.01 alpha and 0.01 alpha. This is the concentration of acetic ion and H3O plus ion at equilibrium. And this is the concentration of acetic acid at equilibrium. So in this way, what is the value of this Ka? This Ka is equal to 0.01 alpha into 0.01 alpha divided by 0.01 minus alpha. Okay. Okay. So for very dilute solution, so for a weak electrolyte, this alpha value is very less than 1, and you know this alpha value is very less than 1. That can be neglected from the denominator. So if you can neglect the denominator, alpha can be neglected. So alpha can be neglected from the denominator. So what you get? So in this way you get Ka is equal to 0.01 alpha into 0.01 alpha by this is neglected. So in this value is 0.01 cancels, that is 0.01 alpha square. Simply you know that is Ka is this much, or you know this Ka is C alpha square. So just put this formula. K is equal to C alpha square. See the concentration that is given 0.01 and alpha is the degree of ionization. So K is given 1.8 10 to the power minus 5 is equal to C, that is the concentration 0.01 into alpha square, or alpha square is equal to 1.8 10 to the power minus 5 by 0.01. 1.8 10 to the power minus 3 by 1.8 to 10 to the power minus 3 when it comes for this value. So then what is the value of alpha? So alpha is equal to square root of 1.8 10 to the power minus 3. So find out the square root of this and you will find the answer is 4.24 into 10 to the power minus 2. You will find this much. And another thing is given, what is the value of H3O plus. So previously I have explained, that is when you have written the concentration of CH3COOH plus water, it gives rise to CH3CO minus plus H3O plus, and here the concentration is 0.01 into alpha, that is C alpha. Okay, so the H3O plus concentration already, that is given C alpha 0.01 into 4.2 10 to the power minus 2. It is 4.24 into 10 to the power minus 4 m. So alpha is equal to 4.24 10 to the power minus 2, and H3O plus is equal to 4.24 10 to the power minus 4 m. Okay. Next come to important parts of this topic, that is theories of acids and bases. Okay. Theories of acids and bases. So there are different theories for acid and bases. Earlier you know, acid is a substance generally which are sour in taste, and base is a substance which are generally bitter in taste. And another thing also you know, acid can turn blue litmus red and base can turn a blue litmus red. Okay, so these are some practical to know practical examples to know which one is acid or which one is base. But from the molecular formula, how we can know which one is acid or which one is a base? So actually, from the molecular formula, from the structure, how can we know what is an acid or is a base? So there are different scientists give different theories to explain this acid and base. But three important theories are there. So one is known as the Arrhenius theory. Another known as Bronsted-Lowry theory, and another known as Lewis theory. So there are three theories to explain these acids and bases. So according to Arrhenius theory, an acid is a substance which gives H plus ion in aqueous solution. So which contains generally hydrogen atom and gives H plus ion in aqueous solution known as an acid. And base is a substance which generally contains hydroxyl ion, that is OH group, and gives OH minus ion in aqueous solution. For this OH minus. Look here. So according to Arrhenius theory, suppose HCl is there, it gives H plus Cl minus H2SO4. Suppose dissolved in water, it gives 2H plus aqua plus SO4, 2 minus aqua. Okay, so it gives H plus ion. Similarly, nitric acid, HNO3 in water, it gives H plus aqua plus NO3 minus aqua. So any substance, any species which gives H plus ion in aqueous solution is known as acid. That is Arrhenius acid. So this acid may be weak or base, weak or strong. So it is a weak. So there are some examples of strong acids, and some weak acids are also there, like acetic acid CH3COOH plus water, it gives CH3CO minus plus H plus. So with H plus reduced by water to give H3O plus. Okay. So this is actually sorry. For this we have to give this irreversible sign because it do not undergo complete ionization. It do not give completely the H plus ion. In this case, they undergo complete ionization, but this acetic acid does not undergo complete ionization. Similarly, another example, suppose you have taken hydrogen cyanide, and when this is treated with water also, so it is also weak and it gives H plus plus Cl minus, all in same aqueous condition. This is also in aqueous and in aqueous condition. Similarly, if we take the formic acid also, this is called formic acid, and water, it also gives HCO minus plus aqueous plus H plus aqueous. So these are known as your Arrhenius acids, okay, which gives H plus ions. But another is that Arrhenius bases, so which gives OH, which contain hydroxyl group and gives OH minus ion, that are known as Arrhenius bases. Look here, suppose you have taken the example of sodium hydroxide. So sodium hydroxide and water, it gives Na plus aqueous plus OH minus. Na plus aqueous plus OH minus ion aqueous. So in the formula it gives OH and it also gives OH minus. In this way it is a base. Similarly, if you take the example of potassium hydroxide, let us consider for potassium hydroxide. Potassium hydroxide, when dissolved in water, it also gives K plus and OH minus ion. K plus aqua plus OH minus ion aqua. So in this way it is a base, and these are also the strong bases, are they almost complete ionizers. Similarly, there are some weak bases. For example, if you take the example of ammonium hydroxide. So ammonium hydroxide, when dissolved in water, it gives ammonium hydroxide when dissolved with water, it does not undergo complete ionization, it undergoes partial ionization to form NH4 aqueous plus OH minus aqueous. Okay, so in this set, these are base. So these are your weak bases. Similarly, another, suppose you take the example of calcium hydroxide also. So it gives H2O in dissolved water. So it also contains OH hydroxyl group. It gives Ca2 plus 2OH minus in aqueous solution. So these are weak bases and these are strong bases. So according to Arrhenius theory, which gives the OH minus ion are known as bases. Okay, so these are, and some are, there are strong bases and some are weak bases. Okay, next come to, but these are according to Arrhenius concept, which is this H plus ion known as acid and which is OH minus ion is known as base. But there are some limitations in this theory. So what is the limitation? So this is only applicable to find out the acid and base in aqueous solution only. Look, all cases we have taken in aqueous medium. But in non-aqueous medium, whether it can act as acid or base, that cannot be defined by this Arrhenius theory. Anything which gives H plus ion in aqueous solution known as acid, which gives OH minus ion is known as base. Only this thing is given. And in non-aqueous medium, it cannot explain the acid-base theory. And another thing, there are some acids which do not contain H plus ion. Still, they act as acid. For example, suppose they do not contain H plus ion. Still, they act as base acid. For example, aluminum chloride, AlCl3, BF3, they act as acid. Carbon dioxide acts as acid. Non-metal oxides like sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. So all non-metal oxides, general acids, and AlCl3, BF3, these also acts as bases that cannot be explained by this Arrhenius theory. And also it cannot, so all these acidic behavior cannot be explained by Arrhenius theory. And similarly, it cannot explain the basic character of ammonia. So how ammonia acts as a base? It does not contain the OH minus ion. Still it acts as a base. So how can it act as a base? That cannot be explained by this. And similarly, metal oxides like sodium oxides, calcium oxides, magnesium oxides. So how these oxides also act as base? This theory cannot be explained because they do not contain OH minus ion, and how they can act as base. That cannot be explained by this Arrhenius theory. But we can compare what is the strength of this acid and base according to the Arrhenius theory by applying this Ostrow's dilution law only. Okay, so this is actually not applicable for strong acids or strong bases. This is generally applicable for weak acids and weak bases. So if there are two different weak acids, which one is stronger and which one is weaker, that can be between the weaker acids, and again what is the tendency of their tendency to give this H plus ion. So depending on, we can compare the acid strength, and this acid strength of these acids and bases can be determined from Ostrow's dilution law. That is, suppose we consider two acids, that is formic acid and acetic acid. So both are weak acids. Okay. So among if both are weak acids, so among them which one is the more stronger, which one is more weaker, which one is weaker, and which one is more stronger? That can be determined from the degree of ionization or from the dissociation constants. So that can be determined from alpha in terms of alpha or in terms of K. Suppose alpha 1 is the degree of ionization of one acid and alpha 2 is the degree of ionization of another weak acid. Then alpha 1 by alpha 2, this is equal to Ka1 by C root over by Ka2 by C root over. Okay, suppose you have taken the same molar concentration of both these, then we can know alpha 1 by alpha 2, this is root over of Ka1 by Ka2. And Ka1 is the dissociation constant of acid A and dissociation constant of acid 2, acid 1 and acid 2. So by comparing the square root of the dissociation constant of two acids, we can find out which one is the stronger acid, and which we can compare the acidic strength. Okay. Similarly, if we consider two bases, which one is stronger and which one is weaker, that can be determined from by applying this Osborn's dilution law again, and that can be also determined from same formula alpha 1 by alpha 2, that is equal to root over of Kb1 by Kb2, where Kb1 is the dissociation constant of base B and dissociation constant of base B, and Kb2 is the dissociation constant of base 2. So alpha 1 degree of ionization of base 1 and alpha 2 degree of ionization of base 2. So in this way you can compare what is the acid strength and basic strength. Okay. So still in Arrhenius theory there are some shortcomings. So in this way they developed another theory that is known as Bronsted-Lowry theory. So according to Bronsted-Lowry theory, an acid is a substance which gives H plus ion in aqueous or in non-aqueous medium. Actually in aqueous medium. In some non-aqueous medium also, in some cases it gives H plus ion. So in general, to say an acid is a substance which can give H plus ion, and base is a substance which can receive H plus ion. Okay. So Arrhenius theory, acid furnishes or gives H plus ion, and base that gives or furnishes OH minus ion. And what is Bronsted-Lowry theory? According to Bronsted-Lowry theory, an acid is a substance which gives H plus ion, which furnishes H plus ion. An acid is a substance which furnishes H plus ion, and base is a substance which can receive H plus ion. Base is a substance which can receive H plus ion. So an acid is a substance which can give H plus ion, and base is a substance which can receive H plus ion, that is known as a base. Okay, that means H plus ion means, in H plus ion there is no electron, no neutron. So no in hydrogen only one proton and one electron present, no neutron in hydrogen atom, but in H plus no electron is also there. In this H plus ion is also known as a proton. So we can say acid is a substance which can give a proton, and base is a substance which has the tendency to receive a proton. Or then acid is a proton donor and base is a proton acceptor. Okay. So look at this example, that is suppose given HCl plus water give rise to, so here HCl water, so here HCl gives one H plus ion to this water. So water receives H plus ion from HCl. In this way it forms Cl minus plus H3O plus. Okay. So HCl, this is one acid, and H2O, this is a base, and here Cl minus H3O plus. Similarly, suppose another example, ammonia plus water here. So in this way, look here. So ammonia, it has the tendency to receive one H plus ion, and water has the tendency to give H plus ion. So when HCl and H2O is taken, when HCl gives H plus ion, so this is known as acid, this is known as a base because it receives H plus ion. And now ammonia when reacts with water, so in this case, ammonia and water has more tendency to give H plus ion, and ammonia has more tendency to receive this H plus ion. So in this way it gives NH4 plus and OH minus ion. Hence, so as it gives, now it acts as acid and now it acts as a base. Okay. Look here. So in the acid-base reaction, how this acid-base reaction takes place? So now, so here water acts as base and water acts as an acid. So for a while, forget about this. Just remember about this. So HCl plus water give rise to Cl minus and H3O plus. So HCl and H2O. Now this Cl minus as in the ionic form, these are unstable, and now this ion again it has the tendency to receive one H plus ion, and the H3O plus ion has the tendency to give one H plus ion. Look here, HCl after giving Cl minus and H3O plus ion it gives. Now the Cl minus ion has the tendency to receive one H plus ion, and H3O plus ion has the tendency to give H plus ion. So anything which has the tendency to give H plus ion, that is known as acid. So in this way, now this H3O plus acts as acid, and this Cl minus ion has the tendency to receive H plus ion. Now it acts as a base. So suppose this is base 2 and this is base 1 and this is acid 1, this is base 2 and this is acid 2. Look here, what is the comparison between acid 1 and base 1? So this acid 1 after giving H plus ion forms a base 1. Similarly the base 1 receives H plus ion forms acid 1. And here H2O after giving H plus ion, after receiving H plus ion forms H3O plus, which acts as acid. Similarly, this acid after giving H plus ion forms H2O, which can act as base. So in this way, these are acid and base. So this is one acid-base pair, and this is another acid-base pair. Look here. So this is one acid-base pair. This is acid-base pair. And here water H3O plus, this is another acid base pair. So here this acid and base pair, these are differentiated by what? Here HCl and Cl minus, these are differentiated by 1 H plus ion. And in this acid base pair, these are also differentiated by 1, these are also differentiated by 1 H plus ion. In this way, the acid and base pair which are differentiated by 1 H plus ion, only 1 H plus ion is known as conjugate acid base pair. That is known as conjugate acid base pair. So we can say there are two conjugate acid base pair. There are two conjugate acid base pair. Now, what is the conjugate acid of HCl? The conjugate acid of HCl is Cl minus. What is the conjugate what is the conjugate base of? So this is the acid base. What is the conjugate base of HCl? The conjugate base of HCl is Cl minus. What is the conjugate acid of H2O? The conjugate acid of H2O is H3O plus. What is the conjugate base of H3O plus? That is H2O. What is the conjugate acid of Cl minus? That is HCl. So in this way, to find out a conjugate acid, just add 1 H plus ion, and to find a conjugate base, just remove 1 H plus ion. Okay? To find a conjugate acid, so from any formula, from any speciation, if you want to find out what is the conjugate acid, to find out the conjugate acid, just add H plus ion, and to find the conjugate base, just remove H plus ion. Okay, from the formula, so that you can find out the conjugate acid base pair. Next, how to compare the acid base strength of them. So the acid base strength of them can be determined from its tendency to receive this H plus ion or the tendency to accept this H plus ion. So in this we can compare. So if there is one strong acid like HCl. So as HCl is a strong acid, so when it reacts with water, look here, HCl has a strong tendency. When it reacts with water, it gives H plus and Cl minus, or we can say HCl plus water give rise to, suppose in this case, just I want to write like this, Cl minus plus H3O plus, and another give example, CH3COH is there and plus water is there, and it gives CH3CO minus plus H3O plus. Now look here, between these two, HCl has more tendency to give Cl minus ion. So in this way, as it is the strong acid, it has more tendency to give Cl minus ion. And this Cl minus ion has little tendency to receive H plus ion. But in this way, here generally we are giving this irreversible sign, give rise to sign. But CH3CO water is there, CH3CO minus plus H3O plus. Now as it is in equilibrium, it is weakly dissociated to give CH3O minus. Now it has the more tendency to receive H plus ion. It has the more tendency to receive the H plus ion. So the conjugate base of HCl is Cl minus, and the conjugate base of CH3COH is acetate ion, CH3CO minus. So if you compare between these two, now it has the more tendency to receive H plus ion than this. Acetate ion has more tendency to receive H plus ion than Cl minus ion. In this way, this is a stronger acid than this. Okay, so this is a stronger acid than this. So we can say an weak acid has a strong conjugate base, while a strong acid has a weak conjugate base. And weak acid has a strong conjugate base, while a strong acid has a weak conjugate base. So in this way you can compare what is the acid base strength. Okay, and similarly for a base, there is acid is also a conjugate acid is there, and for a strong base there is a weak conjugate acid, and for a strong weak base there is a strong conjugate acid. Okay, so in this way you can determine. But there are also there are some limitations in this Bronsted theory. What are the limitations? Again, it only deals with H plus ion, the proton donor, proton receiver. But it cannot explain what is the acid character of aluminum chloride, how aluminum chloride is acidic, and it does not have the tendency to give H plus ion. Aluminum chloride, boron trifluoride, ferric chloride, carbon dioxide, how these are acidic, that cannot be explained by again this Bronsted theory. Okay, so then they developed another theory that is known as the Lewis theory. So according to Lewis theory, an acid is a substance which has the tendency, to receive a pair of electron, while a base is a substance which has a tendency to receive, to donate a pair of electron. Okay, so acid is a substance which can receive pair of electrons, and base is a substance which has the tendency to donate a pair of electrons. Okay, so acid receive a pair of electron and base donate a pair of electron. So that are known as Lewis acids and bases. Look here, for example, when we consider about boron trifluoride. You know, in boron trifluoride, boron atom surrounded by 6 electrons. It has incomplete octet. In this way, it has a tendency to receive a pair of electrons. Hence, it is known as Lewis acid. Similarly, when we consider about AlCl3 in the same way, FeCl3 in the same way, so these are Lewis acids. But look here, all these are Lewis acids. Similarly, Lewis acids are again those which are a sort of a pair of electrons, which are generally electron deficient. So all cations, all positive ions are generally Lewis acids. And another, the central atom is bonded with electronegative atom by multiple bonds. Then also this acts as your Lewis acid because it can receive a pair of electrons. Similarly, the central atom which has vacant d orbital, that are also known as your Lewis acids. So Lewis acids are electron deficient species. These are also known as electrophiles, electron loving. So they have more loving for electron, more attraction for a pair of electron. So these are known as your Lewis acids. And what are the Lewis bases? So Lewis bases are that which have the tendency to donate a pair of electron. Although they have the complete octet, but there is some unshared pair of electron so that they can easily donate the pair of electron. Look at the example of ammonia. You know, in ammonia, NH3, so this nitrogen atom is surrounded by 3 hydrogen per 3 bonds. There is also a lone pair of electron, and this lone pair of electron, it can coordinate to each other. So it can coordinate with BH3, it can coordinate with AlCl3, it can coordinate with FeCl3. So in this way, it has the tendency to donate the pair of electron. In this way, it acts as your Lewis basis. So any species which have a pair of electron that can donate it, that is known as a Lewis base. So these Lewis bases are generally electron rich species, and as the electron rich species, these are more attraction towards positive charge or nuclear center or nucleus, that is the positive center. So you know, nucleus is generally positively charged, so it has more attraction towards positive center. So in this way, these are known as nucleophiles. So Lewis bases are nucleophiles and Lewis acids are electrophiles. So all negatively charged ions and any neutral molecule which has a pair of electron that can act as your Lewis acids. Okay. So I think now it is clear what is RN according to Arrhenius theory, what is an acid and base according to Bronsted theory, what is an acid and base, and according to Lewis theory, what is an acid and base. But still it has some shortcomings, because when the reaction takes place between acid and base, generally the reaction is very fast, but actually the reaction between the Lewis acid and Lewis base, this reaction is very slow, because when a reaction takes place between them, a coordinate bond is formed. So the formation of coordinate bond, as it is slow, it is this reaction may be slow. Okay, and it cannot explain the normal acidic behavior of normal acid like HCl, H2, SO4, etc., which do not have a tendency to receive a pair of electron. Okay, so there are also some shortcomings, but according to application, there are different theories, and one can be applicable in some cases. So different theory can be applicable in different cases. Okay, so now note down the points. So Arrhenius theory of acids and bases. According to Arrhenius concept, an acid is a hydrogen containing compound which gives free hydrogen ions when dissolved in water. Some examples are given. This is for strong acids and this is for examples of weak acids. And according to this concept, a base is a hydroxyl group containing compound which gives free. So hydroxyl OH group is known as hydroxyl group. Hydroxyl group containing compound which gives OH free OH minus ions when dissolved in water. So these are some examples of sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide. These are some examples of strong acids, so strong bases. These are some examples of strong bases. And ammonium hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide. These are some examples of weak bases. So these are weak, so strong bases, and these are strong bases, and these are weak bases. So note down these points. So limitations of Arrhenius theory is limited to aqueous medium only. It has to explain the acidic and basic behavior of substances in non-aqueous medium. So it has to explain the acidic character of substances like carbon dioxide, sulfur trioxide, etc., which do not contain the hydrogen atom. And it also has to explain the basic character of ammonia, calcium oxide, magnesium oxide, etc., which do not contain the OH minus ion. Okay. Comparison of the strength of acid and bases. So, however, if we compare according to Arrhenius theory, it gives H plus ion, and in acid and OH minus ion and bases. So, in this way, we can compare the acidic strength from their dissociation constant values. It is alpha 1 by alpha 2, K square root of Ka1 by Ka2. The same molar concentration of two acids are taken. In the strength of acid Ha1 by strength of acid Ha2, this Ka1 by Ka2, where Ka1 is the dissociation constant of acid Ha1 and Ka2 is the dissociation constant of acid Ha2. Similarly, if you compare the which one is stronger, which one is weaker between two bases, that can be compared from their degree of dissociations or dissociation constants, which alpha 1 by alpha 2 is equal to square root of Kb1 by Kb2 if we take the same molar concentration, or strength of base BOH by strength of base BOH2 is Kb1 by Kb2. So look here, according to Bronsted-Lowry concept, an acid is a substance which has a tendency to donate a proton, and base is a substance which has a tendency to accept a proton. Thus, an acid is a proton donor and base is a proton acceptor. Look here, HCl and H2O. HCl gives H plus ion, H2O plus ion, and Cl minus ion. In this, HCl acts as acid, and H2O as receives H plus ion, it acts as a base. Similarly, NaCl water, when we consider now ammonia and water, here water gives H plus ion. So when we compare these two, here water acts as acid while ammonia acts as a base. Okay, and water after giving H plus ion forms OH minus ion, which has now a tendency to receive H plus ion. Here HCl gives Cl minus ion, and Cl minus has a tendency to receive a proton. Hence, here water has, in this case, here water has H plus ion, okay, base. And again, here it is found that an acid after losing a proton forms a base, here OH minus and here Cl minus, which has also tendency to receive a proton, hence acts as an acid. So in this way, acts as an acid has a tendency to receive a proton, hence acts as an acid. Not acid, hence which has a tendency to receive a proton base. So an acid, so a base has a tendency, it's a base which has. So look here, then water donates H plus ion, acts as acid, and ammonia receives a proton, acts as a base. So here it is found that an acid after losing proton forms a base. Similarly, a base after receiving H plus ion forms an acid. This is a base after receiving H plus ion forms acid. This is a base after receiving H plus ion forms acid. So in this way, an acid has a corresponding base. An acid has a corresponding base, acid 1, base 1, known as its conjugate base, and a base has a corresponding acid known as conjugate acid. An acid has a corresponding base known as conjugate base, and a base has a corresponding acid known as conjugate acid. Okay, so note down this. So conjugate an acid-base pair which a differentiated H plus ion is known as conjugate acid-base pair. HCl Cl minus, NH4 NH3 is acid base, H2O OH minus, acid and base, H3O plus H2O acid and base. So to get an acid, just you add an H plus to the formula, and to get a base, just remove one H plus ion from the formula. You can get base. A strong acid has a weak conjugate base and vice versa. Okay, so HCl is a stronger acid than acetic acid, but its conjugate base Cl minus, this is weaker than its conjugate base CH3CO minus. So strong acid has a weak conjugate base and weak acid has a strong conjugate base. Amphoteric substances. So there are some substances which have the tendency to receive the H plus ion as well as to receive the H plus ion as well as the tendency to give the H plus ion. So that are known as the amphoteric substances. For example, water. Water by giving H plus ion forms OH minus ion, and water can also receive H plus ion to form H2O plus ion. So in this way, it is an amphoteric substances. Similarly, ammonia receiving H plus ion forms NH4 plus ion, and by giving H plus ion forms NH2 minus ion. Hence, ammonia is also amphoteric. HSO3 minus bicarbonate ion. It receives H plus ion, forms H2CO3, and it can donate H plus ion to form carbonate ion. Hence, this is amphoteric substances. So, note down these points. So Lewis concept of acid and bases. According to Lewis concept, an acid is a substance molecule which can accept a pair of electrons, and base is a substance or molecular ion which can donate a pair of electrons. So this concept is also called the electronic concept because electron transfer restless. So Lewis bases, neutral species with at least one lone pair of electrons, ammonia, water, and so it has at least one lone pair of electrons, so they can donate the pair of electrons to other. In this way, these are known as your Lewis bases. And similarly, all negatively charged ions or anions, these are known as the Lewis bases. So all the Lewis bases are also known as nucleophiles, and these are electron-rich species. Similarly, what are the Lewis acids? These are the electron deficient species. These are electron deficient species, also known as electrophiles. Okay. So molecules in the central atom has incomplete octet Ba3, LCl3, FeCl3. You know in Ba3, boron atom surrounded by 6 electrons. Similarly, AlCl3 surrounded by 6 electrons. In FeCl3 it is also surrounded by 6 electrons. Okay. The simple cations, all cations, the positively charged ions, Na plus, K plus, Cu plus, all positively charged ions, NO2 plus, Cl plus, whatever may be, all negative, all positively charged ions, these are known as your Lewis acids. And molecules in which central atom has empty d orbitals, so that in the when the electron pair can coordinate, the electron pair can recede by these empty d orbitals. The orbitals, as a result, they can accept the electron pair to be accommodated in the empty orbitals. You arrange SN4, SA4, if you arrange the electron configuration, their d orbitals are vacant. So in this way, the electron pair can remain there. And molecules in which atoms of different electronegativities are linked by multiple bonds. These are some examples of Lewis acids. So according to Lewis theory, so when acid-base reaction takes place, generally that is through coordinate bond formation. So Ba3 electron deficient, Lewis acid, ammonia, which is electron rich species, Lewis base. So acid-base reaction generally for formation of coordinate bond. So what are the limitations? So it first explain the acid character of normal acids which do not involve in the formation of coordinate bond. And acid-base reactions are normally fast, but coordinate bond formation is very slow. In this way, it cannot fit with the acid-base reaction. And for the relative strength of acid and base, that also cannot be determined according to this Lewis theory. So for today, up to this.